It's one of the greatest dramas in Earth's history. How the Indian subcontinent crashes north into Eurasia. The story began 35 million years ago, and it's still going on today. This vast collision makes the Himalayas our highest mountain range, and the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau the roof of the world. China's three mightiest rivers flow down off the plateau. This geological mega-collision created China's climate, with huge sandy deserts, temperate forests, and monsoon rains, and still helps shape people's lives today. In this series, we follow the people of China through 1 year, revealing, spectacular, dramatic, all revealed from the air. A year of surprises, as a nation of 1.4 billion faces incredible opportunities and challenges. As summer burns out, for those who live off the land and sea, the hardest time of the year is approaching. Across Zhejiang province, rivers channel rich organic material into the Pacific Ocean, which makes the shallow coastal waters a haven for spawning fish. Communities on this coastline are built around the riches to be made at sea. From the town of Shepu, over 3,000 boats regularly fish the waters. In early September, the harbor buzzes with activity. But they aren't fishing yet. Because in recent years, it hasn't been easy to make a living here.
也慢慢一年不如一年，慢慢就是鱼也少起来了，也不多了。到我们如果再过几十年的话，我们下一代人啊都没鱼打，都没鱼吃。
Li Guofeng and his family have fished these waters for generations. But in 2003, they and the other fishermen here took a brave decision. They banned all fishing activity over the summer to try and ensure fish populations survive. Tomorrow, Li Guofeng can return to the sea for the first time since May. Now they have less time to fish each year. The Li family must make every trip count. Guofeng's mother and father prepare the nets, whilst his brother takes their boat somewhere unusual, an ice factory.
这次出海总共加了66吨冰，因为怕海上采亮油有生意是吧？鱼采亮油，所以多加一点冰，在海上时间待久一点。
With this much ice, Li Guofeng will be able to keep his catch fresh for 2 whole weeks at sea. But before they can hit the waves, there's another thing the Li family must attend to. The start of the fishing season coincides with a historic tradition. A festival where this community worshiped the goddess of the sea.
出海真的很辛苦，祈求就是今年下半年，主要是吧，挨船是吧，顺顺利利，一帆风顺是吧？啊，祈求个再祈求个就是下半年有个好收成，对吧？是吧？风嘛，每一趟还出去嘛，希望都来这儿。
With the festival complete, After 3 months of waiting,
怎么样？
Li Guofeng pilots his boat into the East China Sea, carrying the hopes of his family with him. He's joined by thousands of others returning to the open water. Harvest season has begun. For millennia, the passing of the seasons in China has been marked by solar terms. These were developed by farmers and break the year into 24 time periods that reflect seasonal natural phenomena. As September progresses, the country enters an important new solar term. The days get shorter and temperatures drop, causing dew to form overnight. Many people believe that eating sweet potato at this time will lead to long lives. As the dew forms in the mountains of Sichuan province, it's a different natural phenomena that fascinates a team of scientists. China lies on the Eurasian tectonic plate. To the south, the Indian plate pushes into it with enough force to lift the Himalayas by 1 centimeter each year. This geological process creates not just the Himalayas, but the Tibetan Plateau and the mountains that rise in southern Sichuan. This process can exact a heavy toll on the people of China. In 2008, the tectonic pressure unleashed a magnitude 8 earthquake in Sichuan province. 70,000 people died. The town of Beichuan was devastated. Today, a team of scientists work on the hills of Sichuan to try and avert another catastrophe. Wang Tun is a quantum physicist with 2 PhDs. When the 2008 earthquake struck, he had a lucrative job at Vienna University.
当那天都在刷新闻度过的，同时打电话给家里面打不通了。 给父母打电话，电话全是忙音，所以说也很担心。
Wang completely changed his life after the earthquake.
我以为我的技术能力应该能够帮助中国把这个地震预警的技术尽快搞出来。
He quit his job, raised money to start a new business, and arrived in Sichuan just weeks after the quake. He headed straight for Beichuan.
正好就碰上了一些较强的余震，所以这个呢，真正的让我体验到什么是地震。
Major earthquakes are inevitable, and no one has developed a way to predict when they will strike. But Wang realized there is a way to give people some warning. He created sensors that, when drilled into the earth, can detect the signature movements of an earthquake. The damaging shock waves caused by an earthquake travel at 3.5 kilometers per second. Radio waves travel 8,000 times faster. Wang's sensors use radio signals to race ahead of the earthquake and trigger alarms in areas that are at risk.
目的就是在地震灾难前能够提前几秒到几十秒预警。对于离震中有一定距离的人呢，那就有逃生和避险的时间。
Many didn't believe this plan would work. But Wang was driven to make it a success. Beichuan was 140 kilometers from the epicenter of the 2008 quake. Wang's system would have given the people here 31 seconds warning.
如果当时像汶川地震的时候有31秒，那么像北川中学的一些学生啊，当时的学生就可以有很多的人肯定可以有序的疏散，安全的避险，肯定也有很多人减少他们的伤亡。
Wang has been working on this problem for 12 years, and his system has already been put to the test. In 2019, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck in Changning. Over 1 million people heard Wang's alarm and were able to get to safety. Wang Tun himself was one of them.
当倒计时到0的时候，真的感受到强烈的地震晃动。结果走到楼下的时候，就发现楼下的人正在谈论，他们也刚才也同时听见了社区的大喇叭在响。我就边跑边喊：“这就是我开发的！”
It was a huge success for Wang. So far, his system has alerted people to 52 earthquakes. It's never given a false alarm. He hopes, with more time, he can extend the network of sensors across China and the world.
哪怕有一个人因为我们的预警而使生命得到延续，我就会一直努力下去。
Earthquakes pose a challenge, not just to Sichuan's citizens, but also to a group of people hoping to harness some of this province's natural power. Sichuan literally translates as 4 rivers, thought to mean the Jinsha, Min, Tou, and Jialing rivers that power through this province. This is the Jinsha River, the upper course of the Yangtze. It carves a winding tract through Sichuan's mountains. And in one valley, a team of engineers works to control its power with one of the world's largest dams. Today, engineer Jiang Long is in charge of a massive concrete pour.
我们今年的目标的话，大坝它要浇筑100万方，然后上升100米。
Adding 100 meters to this dam in 1 year is not easy. Today, Jiang Long must pour 3,300 cubic meters of concrete, all of which must be delivered in buckets like this. Jiang Long must also make sure that each batch of concrete will cure at the perfect temperature to have the strength to withhold the river.
就是说哪一个环节都有可能出现问题，只要一个环节出现问题的话，就是说就可能造成这个混凝土浇筑失误。
Any frailties in the dam could be catastrophic, because beneath Jiang Long's site, another engineering feat is coming together. This colossal power station is underneath the dam and will turn the flow of the Jinsha River into electricity. When complete, it will produce enough electricity to power 21 million homes.
它整个跨度是34米，然后高度的话有将近是90米的高度。应该是全球嘛最大的这个地下厂。
Above ground, Jiang Long has turned this remote valley into a network of factories to produce the gravel, sand, and cement to build the concrete dam. To keep the concrete pour on schedule, he must regularly check that each site is running efficiently.
现在来看还是能跟得上，因为我们也加班加点的在生产嘛。现在一切都正常。
The gravel aggregate is in good order. But there's something that isn't in his control.
因为乌镇泽这个地方的话，它有很多这种我们叫雷阵雨嘛。因为混凝土的话，它有这个水泥、石子、沙子，它其中还有一个很重要的成分就是水。你如果是降雨的话，你实际上是相当于是影响了这个混凝土的这个我们叫配合比。
September is the tail end of the rainy season, and a storm is forecast to hit today. If it rains hard, the concrete won't cure perfectly, so Jiang Long will have to stop work and miss his daily target. With time limited, Jiang Long presses the team to work at top speed. Jiang Long delivers another successful concrete pour before the rains hit hard.
说人一辈子的话，可能都不会再遇到这么大的工程了。应该还是一件比较有幸的，就是说很有幸的一件事情。
Under Jiang Long's watch, the dam rises a little higher on its 280-meter journey to the sky. At this time of year, China comes together to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival, a time for families to unite, to share mooncakes and light paper lanterns, in a tradition that honors the harvest moon and dates from the Yuan dynasty, the dynasty founded by the grandson of legendary Mongol conqueror Genghis Khan. In Inner Mongolia, high temperatures throughout the year threaten an ancient way of life. And herdsman Hong Xinga fights for its survival. For Mongolian herdsmen like Han, unexpected dry spells can make survival hard.
жалгаад ганцнаас бол одоо мачтын амьдрал бол одоо амьдрал аж ахуйд бол тээлийн их одоо чухал.
Han is preparing for an ancient religious ceremony he hopes will help. It's so important, his sons who live in the city return home to take part. Han's son, Jiren Bayer, will perform traditional Mongolian throat singing at the ceremony.
비엔오다 아와 내리더라다 유 ямар хүмүүс
또 너또 왔으니 하마테 딘도도로서
보시냐
또 왔삼 참
아우 차가워 들어봤어.
제가 지금 야마로데 있는 한번
언더 봤나?
예.
소리 지금.
괜찮아.
On the morning of the ceremony, the family leave at dawn. At the center of the event stands the ovu, a stone shrine that Mongolians have worshipped for 800 years. It's believed it began as a route marker for herdsmen, gradually gaining religious significance to the nomads. Han Xing'a's family are joined by many others from far-flung settlements to pray for prosperity and rain. Down on the plain, Jiren performs to the crowd of worshippers.
이마소리도 다 주의던 바에는 오동적 서이단이 보던 그 자도죠. 그 어느 그 하루치도 고도로 많이 오고 있더래.
Han's sons will return to the city soon. But traditions like this keep their culture alive. As this festival ends, autumn colors are written across the landscape. Rich forests turn from green to red and brown as temperatures drop. But in the far south, a certain kind of tree keeps the landscape evergreen. In southwest Yunnan province, the forested mountains of Jingmai conceal something incredible. This is where, 1,800 years ago, an ethnic group called the Bulang first encountered tea trees. The discovery created an industry of tea producers that have transformed this landscape, covering the mountains with trees that yield a tea known as pu'er around the world. And they are still active to this day. In October, tea farmer Jin works with his family to collect the final harvest of the year.
我们跟这个茶比较很努力的。比较尊重它，因为我们这边这个茶树跟另外一个地方的茶树很不一样，因为我们这边也不施肥不打药嘛。
To protect the ancient trees, Jin cannot harvest tea between November and March. That means this October harvest is the last of the season. And he needs to make it count.
我们现在这个生活跟这个茶也有关，因为没有这个茶，我们那个生活就起不来，弄不了吃的。
Picking the leaves is just the start of the process of creating unique pu'er tea.
因为这个茶很难采，也是很难做。做起来的做不好的，又卖不出去。
Arjun's father dry roasts the leaves to seal in the flavor. They must then be left to air dry. Only after drying can the leaves be fermented to develop the renowned flavor of pu'er tea.
如果有了这个茶树，就比较好，比较很留给自己的后代。
This season, Arjun and his family have grown enough tea to live comfortably on this mountain. And it's not just his family. The work of their Bulang ancestors has transformed this landscape. The hillsides are home to over 1 million ancient tea trees. These are the origin of China's famed tea culture. While the farmers in the south dedicate their lives to an ancient industry, in the north, others have committed to leading China into the future. Across China, 4 sites are equipped to launch rockets into space. Rocket launches take place from the far south on Hainan Island, up to the open plains in the north of Inner Mongolia. Like SpaceX and other commercial companies in the West, Chinese companies are getting involved in engineering for space travel. In one lab, in Zhejiang province, a group of scientists are working to develop the next generation of rocket engine. Ge Minghe is a rocket scientist. He wants to create a rocket powered by liquid methane.
这是我们当初选择甲烷另辟蹊径的一个主要途径。我们需要勇敢地去拥抱未来，为未来的发展去奠定自己的这个基础。
A methane rocket engine could unlock the next frontier of space exploration. Methane can be easily synthesized from water and carbon dioxide. An engine like this could refuel in places like Mars, for the first time making enormous space journeys possible. But before they can launch anything into space, Ge Minghe and his team need to put the methane engine through its paces. They take it to a remote location in the mountains, far away from any settlements. Because if anything goes wrong, testing this engine could be explosive. In the mountains of Zhejiang, a team of scientists strap an experimental rocket engine into a test bed. They will fire the engine and precisely record its power and performance. It's a crucial step towards the future of space travel. But any firing of this massive engine is high risk.
因为破案的过程从来就不是一个轻松的过程，因为咱们国内还没有液氧甲烷火箭发动机相关的各类技术标准。我们需要作为第一个吃螃蟹的人，我们需要做一个探路者。
The engine is powered by liquid oxygen and methane that are stored at minus 100 degrees centigrade. And the flame produced inside the engine will be over 3,000 degrees centigrade. This violent reaction needs to be controlled within 1 centimeter inside this experimental engine. Failure of just one component could cause an uncontrolled reaction and an explosion. The scientists retreat to the control room and prepare for the test firing. Even the company's billionaire owner has come to watch.
102打开。102准备启动。5、4、3、2、1，启动。
The test is a success. Within 1 second, more than 200 kilograms of fuel were burnt. After 5 seconds, the huge fuel tanks were empty.
"造火箭是一个非常特殊的一件事情。这个3年的时间里面，我们经历了很多，一步步走到今天这样一个阶段。我们所达到的高度，应该是说国内的最高的这个水平了。
The next step for Ge Minghe and his team is to produce enough engines like this to lift a rocket into space. As the rocket scientists in Zhejiang strike out for the heavens, the country enters a new solar term. This is the last term of autumn and signals China's coldest provinces passing into winter. China is so large, though, that many seasons coexist here at the same time. Up on the Tibetan Plateau, dry continental winds mean frost is still a few weeks away. This plateau is over 4,500 meters above sea level. It's so high, it's known as the roof of the world. Survival at this altitude is hard. Communities are small, dotted across the landscape. And at the north of the plateau, there's a community based around something unexpected. The Kaidam Basin is a depression that sinks deep into the Tibetan Plateau, but is still higher than the rest of China. It creates a trap for water in the region. Water washes from the mountains of Tibet into the Kaidam Basin. And with nowhere to go, the water pools into lakes. Some small, some big. This is Lake Charka. 500 million years ago, an ocean covered the Kaidam Basin. When the Tibetan Plateau lifted, the seawater was isolated and evaporated, leaving behind 450 million tons of salt. The white mineral reflects light through the water, turning the lake into a mirror of the sky. And it's the basis of a thriving industry. Li Suyong's family have lived here for decades.
从这个我21岁参加工作到现在，工作已经20多年了。我父亲呢，也是我们公司的一个老采员工，等于说我是一个2二代。
Li now passes on his knowledge to a group of apprentices, showing them how to extract the salt, filter it for impurities, and package it for sale.
我去教他们一些设备，去检查必须要检查的，你岗位上必须检查的东西，我全要给他们交代给他们。现在是否可以下刀轮？下刀轮，开始采挖。
Their quarry lies just centimeters below the surface of the water. The salt they harvest forms white mountains by the side of the lake, ready to be processed so it's fit for the finest restaurants.
对这个盐的质量非常要重视的。我们每个人的脑海里都要有这个质量的意识。在这个车间里面呢，我们主要首先对盐的筛选、质量筛选。
The salt is carried on a series of rollers and filtered to remove impurities.
小蔡怎么回事啊？
它这个不转了。
The whole production line grinds to a halt if this machine doesn't work.
黄油能打进去吗？
能打进去。
把它打开看一下。缺黄油吗？这个东西。一会儿我把这个事故报告给我写一下。
Together, they get the rollers up and running. For Lee, it confirms his hopes about the new crop of apprentices at the Salt Lakes.
总体就是我说一说我们90后的新工，这个总体来给我的印象还是挺不错的。从这一点呢，我从心里佩服他们。
With a young team learning the ropes, this salt lake will be home to a thriving community long into the future. As the year moves on, each new month brings China together in different ways. The 11th of November has become an unofficial festival, known as Singles Day. It's renowned for sales that inspire 24 hours of online shopping. In 2019, there were $38 billion of sales, making it the world's biggest shopping day. And despite its name, Singles Day is becoming a popular day for weddings. As the country completes this annual celebration of commercialism, for a group of people in Guizhou province, this time of year means preparing for a cultural celebration like no other. Guizhou province is a mountainous region of southern China. For centuries, the mountainous terrain cut communities here off from the rest of China, and local traditions grew up that are not seen anywhere else. Some of the most amazing are found in Xiaohuang village. This is a village of the Kam people. They are one of China's 56 ethnic groups, and they live in Guizhou, Hunan, and Guangxi provinces. Their villages display virtuoso carpentry with wooden drum towers that reach up to 30 meters tall. These were once defensive structures, but are now community spaces. Covered wooden bridges provide shelter from seasonal storms. Many of these buildings were lost in the 20th century, but now have been rebuilt. And among them, the most distinctive thing about the Kam rings out: their song. Pan Saiyinhua is the most respected singing teacher in this village.
我有2岁、3岁到3岁开始会说话，就开始学歌，跟老人学歌，样样我都记在心里，记在我头脑。
The Kam don't have a written language. Information about their history and culture is passed from generation to generation through song.
我小的时候，我妈也教，婆婆也教，还有我伯妈太厉害，就是她比较教我比较 多一点。
Tomorrow, the village will hold the annual Cam Grand Choir Festival. Pan Sayenhua's students will perform alongside many other choirs in the singing festival. Elsewhere in the village, Wu Rongder coaches another choir.
我这个歌队啊，就从03年建起来的。自从刚建的时候呢，我们只有16个，后来呢，到现在呢，我们有40多个人。
Wu wants to preserve the Cam's unique culture and make it more famous.
节日，我们从03年就开始就想，把我们这个侗族大歌上得更响，上到这个国内内外。
At 4 p.m., villagers gather at the drum tower to perform. Tourists from across China also join them to witness this annual event.
因为侗族大歌呢，它有就是很需要上的，怎么说呢？因为它什么都要含在歌里面，传承历史文化，包括教孩子们做人，都在里面了。
For Pan Sayenhua, it's not the performance that's important, but what it means for her culture.
bảo là uốn mắn lấy thời gian đi mắn kẹo tôi khỏi tiêu tây cầm sông tụ ta qua tiêu bộ cá tiêu mì cá tiêu khỏi chỉ tiêu bộ cá thằng cú thọn kẹo tao khai rồi.
As December dawns, a new solar term begins. The streets become quieter as people are driven into their homes by the bitter cold. Yet in the far north of China, it's only when the ice fully hardens that an ancient way of life becomes possible. In winter, high air pressure in Siberia pushes freezing Arctic air over northern China. In the northern province of Jilin, this can drive temperatures below minus 20 degrees centigrade. It's so cold, rivers and lakes completely freeze over. In these conditions, it takes hardy and industrious people to make a living. Fisherman Chi Baiwan is one of them.
到今天呢，我也跟那鱼打了几十年的交道了。从我记事的时候啊开始，每年呢12月份，都是我们这里呀最忙的时候。整个茶园湖啊，都被冰雪覆盖着，一眼都望不到头。
Each December, Chargan Lake is the site of a gold rush for people like Baiwan. Because beneath this ice, the fresh water is packed with hundreds of thousands of fish. But they need to work hard to catch them. They start at dawn.
须呀这么早，那必须要早点出发，打眼啥的，走线啥这一个过程，否则的话天黑之前呢收不了网。
Once they've decided where to begin, the team set to work cutting a hole in the ice. Baiwan and the crew practice a unique ancient form of ice fishing. Their weapon of choice is a single vast net, 2,000 meters long. First, they sink the entire colossal net into the water. Then, through small holes, they guide the net with rods to spread it out beneath the ice. It takes hours to move the net into the perfect position. But to catch the most fish, they need to get this just right. After 7 hours, it's time to start bringing the net back up. The combined weight of the net and the fish is so great, Baiwan needs 4 horses to bring it to the surface. As the net nears the surface of the ice, hundreds of visitors from across China drive onto the ice to watch the fishermen work. It's time to see if the hours of hard graft have been worth it. There are so many fish, they almost block the hole in the ice as they heave the net out. The tender, smooth texture of these silver carp are highly prized as a delicacy across China.
当网的鱼，当网里的鱼满满出的时候，就那种心情，哎，格外的高兴。因为啥？这一天呢，没有这一天的工作呀，没有白干。因为打鱼的乐趣呀，是任何活动都无法可比的。
The following day, a festival takes place on the ice.
长安湖东部投鱼拍卖仪式，投鱼起价158888元。
They auction the prize fish from yesterday's catch. It's widely believed that the heaviest fish from the first net of the year brings good luck to the owner.
35二毛50，金15万，85万一次，85万2次，饿的85万3次。
The head fish sells for 850,000 yuan. That's equivalent to 125,000 US dollars. Fishermen like Baiwan will continue this work until the ice becomes unstable. And these prize fish will be found on tables across the country for New Year feasts. From the balmy early weeks of autumn to the deep freeze of winter, people in China adapt to the seasons and turn them to their advantage. From the air, we can see how some harness the power of nature, as others seek to understand and exceed it. Cultures are kept alive day by day, and with huge annual festivals. 1 year in this country shows how ancient traditions build the dynamic modern China we see today.